Wow.
Look at our moves.
I know. People will think they've tuned into a totally different show. So
I think I've tuned into a totally different show.
Right? Sorry about that, my friend. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for being here. These are my friends, Richie from Longman Tarot.
Hi.
And Gerald from Tarot Stash. Please do show my friends some love. If you're not already subscribed to their channel, their links are in the description box below. And today we are on a mission, friends, to get Richie from Longman Tarot over the 500 subscriber mark. So if you could show him some extra special love, that would be fabulous. We would greatly
thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that.
The notice popped. The notice popped.
Woohoo!
Woo!
So we want to say hello and welcome to everyone for joining us. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm very excited because this is the first in a series called Interrogation. All things that you want to know about tarot. We would like to add a little humor to the mix. If you
really?
Yeah. That's why you're here. This whole series is actually inspired by Gerald and Ben from Beneficial Tarot. Really quickly, I had some kind of weird download where prior to my channelversary, I was under the weather and I had fallen asleep. I woke up and I had this like whole thing happen. And I ran and got my notebook and I wrote it all down, and Gerald and Ben were in the mix, and so that's how this segment came to be. And so I'm thrilled that Gerald could join us today. So we're going to be
glad to be here.
Of course, we're going to be asking each other a bunch of questions about tarot-related things. If you have any questions, pop them in the chat. In terms of, as we sort of navigate the conversation, we're happy to answer. Let's say hi to everyone. What do you think?
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Engla is in the house all the way from Finland. Hello, Engla.
Hello.
Pierrette White all the way from New Brunswick, Canada. Miss Joan B., I don't know where you live, but thank you for being here. Look at this lovely, lovely picture.
Isn't it gorgeous?
That's Jeffrey. Jeffrey's voice,
hi,
my
Jeffrey's voice. So weird. So. Jeffrey's baking.
Yes, he's bake lurking.
Can you describe this smell?
Not currently, because he's just laying out all of the ingredients like he does.
Gotcha. So if we hear any crashes, we'll know what happens. Rose Blue, all the way from Texas.
Hi, Rose.
Rose is in the house.
Hi there.
Mama Bear is here.
Hi, Mama Bear.
Mika is in the house. Hello, hello, hello. Miss Janet P is in the house. Ivana is in the house.
Ivana.
Yes, of course.
She just needs to know your time zone so that when she invites you on her channel, it makes math easier.
Yes. Oh, friends, I do not.
Hi, Heather.
Oh, thank you, Heather. Hi, Rain. How are you, my friends? Thank you, everyone, for being here. So, drum roll. I have a question. So
Jeffrey's baking pies and he's making cranberry sauce, cranberry relish.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So let's start with a really, really kind of like a nice, easy sort of question.
Define easy.
Yeah. Okay.
Richie. I define easy. Richie.
Oh, that's how it's going to be, is it? Okay.
Yeah. So I would like you to fill in the blank. Gerald, I'm going to start with you.
Of course.
I enjoy reading with Richie and Kelly because I feel blank when we are together. And remember, it's family time.
I feel connected when we read together.
Oh.
You didn't think I was going to go there, so there. Blah, blah, blah.
You don't know where I thought you were going to go.
Yes, I do,
I
you
didn't know
filthy
where you
girl.
were going to go. All right, Richie.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy reading with Gerald and Kelly because their energy blank me.
Their energy supports me.
Lovely.
Ooh.
Lovely. And so I will ask you two to decide my
Okay.
question back at me. Give it to me. I'm ready.
What do you fancy?
I think we should make it a compound sentence with 2 blanks and a semicolon.
A semicolon. I love it. Listen, is this tarot or grammar? Because I would.
Well, it's maths if Richie's here. It's
All right.
No. So,
How
anyhow,
about-
so what do we go for it, Richie?
I enjoy reading with Gerald and Richie blank and blank. How about that?
Okay.
Oh, good one.
So I enjoy reading with the both of you because we can. Okay, actually, I want to change that. I feel I'm allowed to be myself.
Mm-hmm. Good.
That makes me feel good.
You
That
both
makes me feel very good.
I feel like you both lift me up and allow me to be myself, so we can have a few laughs, but we're still very connected and in it to win it, and I love that.
I'm lifting you up right now.
Oh gosh, look at me! I'm light as a feather. Did you see that, friends?
Yeah.
It's like
If it's a board
workout.
Especially after Mark's birthday yesterday.
Yes. Uh-oh. Is there a problem in the kitchen?
That wasn't in mine.
Oh, whose house was that? Was that your house?
No,
Nope.
Is it yours? Are you hearing things again, Kelly? And by the way, Rose Blue put in a question
Yes,
for us.
I have it started.
Okay, just making sure.
Rose says, what card would for challenges you're trying to work out?
What card would...
What card for challenges you're trying to work out? Excuse me, I'm just going to release the card.
Release.
So I think what Rose is asking is what card, what tarot card would you say is the card that says that you're working out your challenges?
Oh, working them out,
yeah.
Going through the challenges. Oh, yeah. That's interesting.
That's a good question. Thank you, Heather.
Let's see.
I want to say that it depends on what kind of challenges.
It does.
Let's say that you're working on, some healing or putting the past behind you. I would say the 6 of air or the 6 of swords.
Yeah, I was going to say 6 of swords, possibly.
Right.
And I would say an 8 of some sort, because the 8 of cups is letting go of past emotions so that you can move forward. 8 of pentacles is continue on with the work that you need to do in order to move to the next level. And we've just lost Richie.
And he was like, I'm out of here. See ya.
Yeah, he's done. The 8 of wands would be that feeling of being a bit overwhelmed, and that. And the 8 of swords would be about realizing the things in front of you
Yep.
May not truly exist. Maybe it may be your own making.
Right. Miter says,
how's that for a long answer?
That's a great answer. Miter says probably Wands cards for challenges. Joan B says 5 of Wands, challenges with others. Heather says the Strength card. And so right here in this question, and we thank you, Rose, for asking it. We thank you for asking it. Right here in this question, and with the answers that people are giving in the chat, is the beauty, in my opinion, of tarot, right? And the interpretation of how you can read different tarot cards. If you've ever paid attention when you're watching, when there's more than one reader on the screen, we could all get the same cards and tell you a totally different story. And yet we could all have different cards and pretty much tell you the same story. So it really is the beauty of tarot, in my opinion, how you can do that. Welcome back, Richie.
I'm so sorry. Basil, my cat, just logged me out.
Well, we Joan B said you were having challenges.
He's been severely told off and now looking rather sad.
Aw.
And one of the things, and I picked a minor specifically because we spend most of our time in our everyday life, and the minor arcana or arcana are about everyday life, and where the majors are really the archetypes. So,
right.
Are we still talking about the challenges?
Yes.
I would have said the 6 of Swords. But actually, I think 2 of Pentacles, for me, is about challenges because it's about balance. When you're working through something, it's about striking that right balance. And you can go far to the left, far to the right, which is what the 2 of Pentacles often means to me. So work through those challenges. You have to stay steady on the course. And again, in many ways, you could say the Chariot is much like that as well.
Yes, absolutely. This is the fascinating part about tarot in my mind. It's the beauty of tarot because it's like, do you remember in school when you would sit down for your math exam, at least in Canada, and they would say, even if you get the formula right, but you don't get the answer right, you'll still get marks.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, because it's the thought process matters.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that depending on how you read tarot, this is where your thought process comes into play. And of course, it also is very dependent, in my opinion, on the cards that surround it. In terms of like the question that you asked to tell the story. So Rain says, I would use the High Priestess because I see that card as the card of intuition, looking deep within. I love it. So here is another question we have from Lise. Are pages always an interpretation of offering messages?
No.
No. I would say no.
No.
Can be an element of it.
No.
Yeah.
But for me, they often mean a lot more than just messages, or the messages come through as they're questioning. I see them as questioning, asking why. A bit like the fool at the start of his journey is naive, and he's only naive because he doesn't understand the world yet, and he's on a learning journey.
Yes.
And in many ways, the pages for me represent that sort of first stages in the world, where a bit like kids always going, but why, but why, but why? When they like that, it's like that's going on.
I love that. It's kind of like when you go when you take the kids on a road trip and they're like, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. And I do think pages are oftentimes new, approaching things with a new attitude, a new curiosity. Oftentimes they are an element of bringing you something new to look at shows up, but I don't necessarily think it's always that. No. I think it's Oh, and Heather said the freshman student.
Yeah.
I could see that. Yes.
Yeah.
They are very, very studious, and therefore they ask questions and communicate to find out.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, they're about communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of communication.
I have a question. Hi, Genealogy, and hi, Liz T. We're doing, this is sort of like an interrogation. So if you have a question that is about the conversation that we're having, then absolutely pop it in the chat. I don't know that we're going to do readings, but we may open it up later on if we sort of feel the need to do so. But we appreciate you being here. So the next question that I have for you guys, how do you, okay, I'm thinking of how to word this. I'm not asking how you feel. I'm asking what advice you would give a person that is just learning tarot that may ask your opinion of getting cards with keywords on them. What would your advice be to them? Would you say, yes, do it, or no, don't do it, or what do you think?
I would say, it depends. I would say personally, no. I know that they are a great prompt. The problem is, for someone like me, I'm a very visual learner. So therefore, whenever I see that card, I will automatically think of that word. And that word, therefore, when I'm more comfortable in doing readings more intuitively, that word would become a bit of a block on my intuitive reading. Because that's happened a bit in the past with me. When I learned tarot 30 odd years ago, I learned stock meanings, and I still turn over a card and generally leap to that conclusion. And then I have to talk myself out of it and go with the intuitive flow.
And I would say it depends upon your learning style. Are you a visual learner? Are you an audio learner? Are you a book learner? And I say, find the thing that works for you, that makes you want to keep looking at the cards. I think what could be fun is you have one of those decks that have the keywords on it, but you don't use it all the time.
Yeah.
That's your backup plan.
Yeah.
And you keep that deck in order so that when you're laying out cards, it gives you the option of, I'm not getting anything with this, which, you know, I mean, so I've been reading cards 30 years or so, and sometimes I still open the guidebook, the little white book, and go, what's their spin on this?
Yeah.
What's the spin on it? And so I would not use those all the time, because they can, as Richie was indicating, it can take you out of the intuitive aspect of readings.
Yeah.
So I wanna say, so the first deck, I was gonna pull it out, it doesn't matter. So I've only been reading tarot almost a year now. And
you're doing fine with it. So there you go.
Well, like, you've been doing it for years.
There you go. I did not know that that's how long you've been reading.
No, I had no idea. I thought you'd been doing it for much longer.
No, I started in January, like the end of December, early January last year.
And this is where you can go, thank you.
I said thank you. I batted my eyelashes.
She batted. By the way, that batting your eyes does not work for me.
Oh, sorry. No, that's my way of saying thank you. So I want to say, to the point that both of you were making, so there's a lot of talk about cards with keywords on them, and I have really no opinion one way or the other. My experience is this. So it was suggested to me, and this ties into Lisa's question, which was, must a beginner start with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck? So I'm going to try and tie this into that. when I first started and I was asking people like, what kind of deck, do you have any advice, that kind of thing, like the behind the scenes conversation. It was suggested that I get a Rider-Waite deck, and I got it. And the pictures absolutely mean zero to me. I'm looking at them going, yeah, I'm no wiser for this image. Then it was suggested that I get a deck, which was the Lightseer deck. And it's very bright, and it's very colorful, and it spoke to me. Yeah. And my way of learning tarot has been about 98 different methods, all combined together to make a hot mess. And then I had a couple of lessons with Nancy Jean, and that ironed me out, straightened my butt out. But anyways, I'm looking at the cards, and what happened to me was it's like, this means that. Exactly what the book says. That's what that means. And then I go to the next card, and that's what that means. Exactly what the book says. And then I got this lovely deck, which everyone sees me use. It's the Guardian Angel Messages Tarot, and it does have keywords on the bottom. And I started using this deck because, again, it speaks to me. I love the images in it. It's bright and it's colorful. And I found myself, if I switched to another deck, all of a sudden I started second guessing myself and questioning what the first thing that was coming to my mind when I'm looking at the cards laid out in front of me. And so, to Gerald's point about using other decks, it's lovely to have help. Right? It's lovely to have a reference point, but if you're new, I would say to be careful that you mix it up. Mix it up so that you don't get reliant on a particular image or a particular thing in the card that leads you to a certain direction.
Do you know what I would do nowadays? This is what I would suggest, is people bought, if they didn't want to write over their cards, that's a beautiful deck you've got there, Kelly, and I wouldn't suggest writing on it, but to buy a set of blank cards and actually start to write the keywords on as you study and read, so that you're going to have a little library. There you go, a little library.
I bought this deck here.
Words.
And the images have absolutely, okay, so for example, this is the Six of Swords. There is nothing about that tells me that
tells you it's the Six of Swords.
So I literally had to go in and write down, because I was like, I mean, I am Dozen Cats. I should have a cat tarot deck. And I had to go and write the card names on, because it didn't speak to me. Yeah. Which is why I don't use them.
Well, and I want to say, to go with what Richie was saying, I love the idea of writing down stuff. I mean, people know I'm doing #Tarot the Stash Way. You've watched it. Richie's watched it. And part of that is you need to get comfortable with your own skills and experience. I am a firm believer that did I say firm reader? Firm believer that everyone with practice leans into their comfort zone and gets better. And we're all like, I mean, there are some decks where I go, I'm looking at the picture, and the only way I can tell what it means is because I see that there is the title on it. And it's like that, so that takes me out of it. But I would encourage, and Jamie just said, we're studying the Witch's Wisdom together. And and this goes back to the original point about decks with keywords on it. Sure, that's fine. Write additional keywords on it. Keep it growing and expanding, because therein lies a lot of the power. Because on the Witch's Wisdom, in the book, there's great keywords and great suggestions, and I'm going to be writing on that deck. Because that's going to help me connect to it.
And to that point, this is something that I'm just starting to sort of experience. They're my cards. Like, I own them. They're mine. And I am the only one that uses them. I don't share them with anyone. No one else touches them. And so if I want to write something on it that's going to help me be more connected, then, go for it. And so I guess really the point of me asking that question is, when you are trying to learn something new, I don't care what it is, you're trying to learn baking, you're trying to learn how to quilt, whatever it might be. We assume, because we look at something and we're like, wow, right? That it must be very intricate or very difficult or very challenging. Mm. No matter how you learn, as Gerald alluded to, you have to make it work for you. And if these are yours and you own them, it's not like you're at school and you get a workbook and you have to give it back.
You have
if
to
you
turn it back in, yes.
These are yours and you're the only person that touches them. They are a part of you, in my opinion. They are, this is, the spirit connects me. Like, I'm connected through the cards. So own it, write all over them, put stickers on them, put arrows, whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I just backed, hashtag know your limits, purchase responsibly. I backed a Kickstarter deck that has keywords on it.
Yeah.
Specifically because the images that I saw sort of resonated with me. And it's like with conversations like this, I'm learning something from the people in chat and leaving comments. We're learning from each other. I would be weary of, is it weary or wary? I wouldn't necessarily enjoy going to a tarot card reader who has the same understanding of the Two of Pentacles as they had when they started reading 40 years ago. It always means this. No, it doesn't.
Right.
And now I will get off my high horse.
No, because that leads me to another question that I have. And Spiritual Rain, I did see your question. I do have it starred, and we're going to get there in one sec. So the question that I had pre-written down on my little sticky notes, because I'm all prepared, was, has your reading style changed over the years? And if so, how? And so when you said that, Gerald, it kind of reminded me that I had that question, right? Do you think that your approach to reading or your reading style has changed?
Yes, it has. I'll go first, Richie, because you've gone to first. When I first started reading, like many of us, I would follow the book exactly, the little white book, and I would do exactly what it said, and that's what the card meant.
Yeah.
And then when, we all know me and the Robin Wood Tarot, when, reading the book really helped me trust the way she writes it. It's like going, whatever gets your attention, pay attention to that. It may not be the same thing.
Right.
And so I've also, I've gotten better with that. I also know for me, and I trust this, the tarot is a key that opens a door. Bye, Heather. That opens a door of information for me. I get downloads for people when I'm reading.
Yeah.
And I can now do that with, I'm starting to get those downloads without needing the tarot cards. Tarot cards are comfortable for me. I enjoy it. Gives me something tactile to do with my hands.
Yes.
And I would say in the last 2 years, I've also been paying attention to, thanks to taking some great classes, I'm looking at tarot as telling a story.
Yes.
What do the images say? Okay, I'll stop talking.
What about you, Richie? How's
I think the moment that it dawned on me very similar was I read so many books and tried to understand the Celtic cross layout so many times, and I still don't. And I just learned. And I learned this when I was a student, and unfortunately I learned it by getting really drunk and doing lots of tarot, is just relax with it. We are not, trying to do something from medieval period that has to be followed like a recipe.
Yeah.
Just relax with it and have fun with it and experiment and be prepared to make mistakes. Let people, if you're reading for the note, I'm just starting out, I'd really appreciate feedback and just build on that. And the moment you realize that it's not set in stone somewhere in the tarot temple, then you'll enjoy it. We'll all enjoy it. And everything just gets loosened up and works so much better.
I love that.
And when I see people who this card always means that.
Mm.
I don't go to them. I don't watch their videos. You can do that. Please understand, you can do that. Because I don't read reversals. 78 card meanings is enough for me. Do I need to do what? 156?
Well done.
Yeah.
You notice I'm like, do I have? But I want, and and like Gertrude said, it's like we learn and grow. I'm not the same person I was yesterday.
No.
I'm not the same person I was when I started this live with you.
Right.
And I wanna grow and change and evolve. And trust me, I don't know about Richie. You've had some dark times with the tarot. Listen to me, dark times. But there have been times when I've been going. I've been going. Yeah, all right. There was a period where I gave almost all of my decks away.
Wow.
Regret it because I want them back, but oh well.
Yeah. Lise says as a comment in the chat, yes, layouts are not my focus. It takes away from messages, and I'm totally that person too, Lise.
Yeah.
So this is just an interesting question to me, because I want to know the deets, friends. I want to spill the tea. How long after you picked up your first deck did it take you to either own or just say out loud, I am a tarot card reader? Whether it be to yourself or to the other people. How long did it take you to own that?
That's
oh my gosh.
I don't know if I know the answer to that.
Well, do you own it now?
Yes, yeah, I do. But I'm still in the closet to many people about it.
Me too.
If that's where we're going with this conversation.
Actually, I wasn't, but I mean,
there's times when I, people know me for what I do and stuff like that. But there's an awful lot of people that don't know.
Right.
And that's not because I'm ashamed of it, but just because I don't know really.
Yeah. It took sorry, I just want to say, so when I started the channel, and the reason why I bring this up is because I think that there is a big stigma to reading tarot cards by people that watch and that are interested but have no idea sort of where to start or what it all means. It's not like we're born knowing how to read tarot cards, if that makes sense, right? So when I started my channel,
but everyone can read tarot cards.
100%. When I started my channel, I didn't even know. I mean, I knew what an oracle card was. I'd heard of it, but I didn't own any. Mm-hmm. I spent a small fortune. That's a whole other show, friends. I spent a small fortune buying oracle cards. And I would just sit here and shuffle. And I would do this program called Oracles in Chat, and everyone would be in the chat, and they'd all be talking and sharing, and I would just randomly pull out a card and go, oh my God, how funny is that? That's exactly what you just said. Look at that. I don't know how that's happening. And by the way, look at the card I pulled. Let your fears dissolve.
There you go.
Right? And then I'd just be sitting here and I keep doing it, and people in the chat would be like, you're a reader. Oh my God, you're a reader. And I'm like, I don't know how it's happening. It's just like, it's the funniest thing ever. And so I didn't get it. I fought it. I resisted it with everything in me, and I don't know why I did. And as soon as I owned it, as soon as I said, well, okay, I'm a reader, everything changed. The doors were blown right off, and it was like connect. All that, like everything just sort of fell into place because I just went with it.
Can I just say, actually, I'm thinking about your question. I don't know the time it happened, but I suppose starting the channel up, because there was time when I was lurking in other channels and thinking, I could never do that. I don't know enough about it. I would be a fake. I'd be fraudulent about it. And it was taking those, I'm going to say, massive steps forward to have a channel and be live and talking to people and giving it a go. And that's one of the things Gerald and I started with our long stash is that we wanted to actually practice doing some readings. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do this. And it was only by doing it, I actually thought, yeah, I can do this. And it was, I suppose, validation from people going, not necessarily the people we are reading for, but from other members of this wonderful community going,
yes,
yeah, you can do this. You're okay. You're good, you know. And that was the moment when I could actually take a deep breath and go, okay, yeah, I can do this now.
Right.
Yeah. And I think and Kelly to you just started a year ago, freaks me out.
Yeah.
I think part of I'm going to heap praise in your general direction. Are you ready?
Bring it.
Part of the reason you have grown and expanded is because you kept doing it. You kept practicing. You paid attention. And I think that's one of those things that is really important when we start getting passionate and curious about tarot reading, is when it starts to become part of who we are. I think those moments of, for me, I would say, I did readings with my friend Trixie for a long time. We did tag team tarot, and I warmed everybody up. I was the opening act, and she was the one who was the reader.
Right.
But that's not true. I was a reader developing my own style. So I would say probably in the last 8-10 years, would I feel that I would call myself a reader or a tarot reader. But also to that is, for a long time, I would call myself an oracle, someone who accesses information, because sometimes I needed the cards, sometimes I did not.
Yeah.
So, and it's a process, and it's ever growing. I'm a better reader than I was last year, specifically because I've practiced and I've talked about it, and I've read with people. I've read with Richie. I've read with you.
Yeah.
It's great. What did she say?
Rain says, all three of you read so well, and I'm happy, Richie, that you own that. Validation and feedback from others means the world and helps us to see our confidence. And I love that. I just want to go through some of the comments here. Lise says, I'm afraid to read someone. Yeah. Well, Lise, I'm not trying to put you on the spot or make you feel uncomfortable in any way. But anytime that you want to give it a shot, send me an email, and I will be your first guinea pig. And you can read from me.
And actually, Lisa, I actually, for new readers, I would actually, there was a meetup group where people were reading, and they're like, oh, I've never read before. And I said, and I would say, I'm a really good person to practice with, because I would do that thing like you see me do a lot of times. What do you see in that card? How does that card relate to that card?
Right.
Because that's who I am. I love developing people. So, and by the way, you do not have to read people to be a tarot reader. Do you pick up the cards, and do you look at the cards, and can you tell what that means? Because if you can do that, you're a tarot reader.
Exactly. Yeah. So that you just said that, and look at the comment that I just put up, and that's exactly where I was just headed to. So look at Gerald with his intuition ahead of the game. So not a reader, but follow tarot. My friend's family would say that I'm nuts, but I think I start with oracles. I want to say this in defense of oracles. There are a lot of people out there that think that oracles are not reading, or it's not the same. It is. It is very much the same, because oftentimes you are grabbing from different oracle decks and trying to make sense of a question, and they don't necessarily go together. It's not like the journey of the tarot where the whole story like unfolds in front of you. Oracles, when you're mixing decks as I do, it's very different to pull that story together. We, the three of us, have proven that theory over and over again when we do those weird things, right? And so, the best advice that I can give anyone who's starting out, commit to it. Like, I'm going to do this. Stop questioning yourself. You need to trust it, your connection, the cards, what you're doing, and read the way that you feel comfortable. Don't give a gosh darn dang it problem a bit. Anyone else who says anything, doesn't matter.
Exactly.
You do you.
And I think that it's so important to, I'm not a professional reader. Well, what makes a person a professional reader is they get paid for it. There's an exchange of some sort. There you go.
Exactly.
And so that's all that matters. And I think it's one of those things. I'm going to get on my high horse because I love it when people are. I love it when people are learning to read because, and I like hanging out with people like that because, good Lord, you're seeing this with fresh eyes. I'm seeing this with my 56-year-old eyes.
Yeah.
And I've been looking at these cards the same way. That's why I like to get new cards because it makes me go, oh, isn't that interesting? I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
And so, I do think somebody said, like a daily card for me, baby steps. Absolutely. And I will get on my high horse again. Practice a lot, take notes, date the reading that you do, and make sure that you write down the deck that you're using, because there were probably a good 10 years where I never wrote anything down, and I'm like going, I really, really wish I had done that.
And I would add on to that, reflect on it, because if you're going to do a daily pull, it's one thing to do it first thing in the morning, but where it comes into fruition is when before you go to bed, you look at that card and you go, that's what that means.
Yeah. And really, I mean, in that passion about it, and when you're really incorporating it, when you go, maybe I'll do a tarot pull about that.
Yeah.
That's when it's becomes natural for you.
Right.
I'm loving the comments in the chat.
I know, they're beautiful.
So practice with your teenage son. Love it.
Yeah. So she says, Mama Bear says, I want to practice with my teenage son. What type of questions would we start with? Practice with any question you want.
What do people in chat think? That's what I want to know too.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. The thing that I want to say to you is I went to the entertainment world because there is a plethora of things that we can ask about, right? I will say, this is just my personal opinion, does Bob still like me?
No.
That's not a great question.
Right.
So you want to ask questions that are going to get an answer.
Yeah.
Right? So the more specific, the more detailed, the more focused in a particular area, it helps you when you're reading to be able to put that story together, I think. And so if you go to like the entertainment sort of news and, like, is Britney Spears going to be okay? Oh, well, sure, you could throw some cards on that, but get specific in terms of whatever it is that you want to know about. What is she going to be okay in? Is she going to be okay with this, with her new husband? Is she going to be okay with her singing career? Like, get more specific. And like Gerald said, write it down, right? You can spend all day doing that.
Yeah. And that's very interesting, Kelly, because also I think the way that you phrase a question is the most important thing when it comes to reading.
Yeah.
So as you say, I would never read, does Bob fancy me?
Yeah.
What you need to do is rephrase it. So what can I do to make Bob notice me? Exactly. Is a much better way of answering, because actually it's giving you the power to make any changes. And I'm going to use that word very carefully, changes, or what energies need to be involved in doing it. Because at the end of the day, Bob will change because of you.
Yeah.
And I am a firm believer of I have ethics about reading tarot.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain things that I'm comfortable that I know ethics. There are certain things, the principles that guide how I read for people and for myself. Yes, I use it for magic. And the thing is I am also a firm believer. The only thing that I can really change is myself. So a lot of times with these questions is I will go, okay, what do I need to know? Or
Yeah.
how can I adjust my approach to this for the desired outcome? I don't like to do third party readings. You want me to do a reading about Mark and Mark is not here. I'm going to say, no, what do you need to know about how to help?
Right.
So, and
that's a really good point that Gerald makes. And I want to touch on this really, really quickly. Thank you, Mika, by the way, for that. So Mika says, this is my first time watching, or this is my first time watching. Kelly was the first that I ever started watching. I still don't know what to ask. What questions should I be asking? Here's the beauty part of it, Mika. You're going to put it in the chat. You're going to ask a question. And I may say to you, you know what, Mika, that's like, can we reword this way? I will do that for you. Because listen, you're in a chat and you've got like 200 characters. Sometimes it's hard to express yourself in those 200 characters. It's not like I don't ever go in a chat and ask a question as well. So, but the more detailed or the more specific in a particular area of your life. So can I have a message from my spirit guides? Absolutely, you can ask that question. But if you say, am I going to get the new promotion that I've just applied for, by the end of 2022, that gives us a lot to sort of sink our teeth into, if you know what I mean.
Well, and it's also the idea of, I love it. I got the Two of Wands. Yep. As we're talking about asking the questions, there's a lot of finesse in learning to ask questions. And by the way, you get better at asking questions as you do it.
Yes.
Because it's okay to do okay, my personal experience endorsed by Gerald, nobody else. Don't ask the tarot deck the same question or multiple decks the same question, because sooner, we've all seen those little funny things that, me asking the tarot cards the same question and it's somebody going like this. Just ask a question, write it down, don't rephrase it, because when you're trying to, it's like when you're asking mom and then you're asking dad, right, because you're hoping for another answer. Yeah. I've never done that. I've never done that.
No, but that point that you make is a very valid point, because I'm sure that many people in the chat, myself, it's not like I don't watch other readers, where I've heard people say, well, these cards don't make sense.
Yeah.
And they don't. But then Gerald says something and then Richie says something and you're like, yes, it does. Or you pull another card, right? A clarifier, as some of us will say, and then you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Right? Sometimes you just need to keep going. And I can't say this enough. Trust. If you use it, to Lisa's question, I believe one card pull isn't enough. Your opinion. Sometimes it totally is. It depends on the card that fell, and it depends on the question that you asked. I can't stress this enough. In this, my personal opinion. I listen to my gut, and I trust that. That's where everything is lying, is right in here. And so if it says more, if it says not, if it says go to this deck, if it says, hold on, stop, ask a question, like whatever that tells me to do is what I'm following. I sort of leave it all on the table, not like, no pun intended, but like that's what I'm doing. It, like I try to take myself out of it because and this ties into another thing I was going to ask you guys about: ego and bias.
May I answer? Is it Lisa or Lisa's question? Lisa. One card pulls can be enough, especially if you're very specific. However, my experience has shown that card meanings are impacted by the cards around it. Yep. So I typically like to do like 3 is the minimum that I prefer to do. However, that being said, depending upon what you want to do, I did in 2021, I did gratitude challenge, and I picked a card every day of the week, and then I wrote them down. And then what I noticed was, what's the link of those cards through the week?
Yeah.
And so I would never say one card isn't enough. It's a start, but it depends upon what you want it to do. I need something. I need a card to get me through. Okay, I'm going to be silly. I need a card to get me through this live. I got the 4 of Pentacles, which means to me, calm the fuck down, Gerald. Excuse me. Calm down. The other people have things to share. Don't try to get too much information out there. This is ongoing conversation, and perhaps I would be invited back.
All right, Richie, do you have a deck in front of you?
I have 2.
Okay. John, I don't know if you ever do this or not. Okay. So I've got my hand on the deck. Just cut the deck, and whatever card you pull, show.
Do you want me to do the same thing?
No.
I'm gonna believe this.
What did you got? What have you got? Oh my gosh, look at
King
that.
of Wands.
So I've got the healing heart, love, acceptance, and romance. So basically what Gerald was saying was stand in your power, right? And just accept it. This is about belonging. It's about acceptance. It's about trusting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is interesting. This is going to tie up with something that somebody mentioned earlier about stalker cards.
Yes.
Because the King of Wands has been stalking me for the last 3 days. And I've literally just... In fact, I said to you two, didn't I, before the live, that I've been pulling last 3 days the Knight of Swords and the King of Wands. And ta-da, there he is.
I love this question. That Rain asked, speaking of the stalker card. So what is your stalker card? What do you think of these cards that keep popping up? My stalker card is the Queen of Swords. And
why is that? Just because it's always there, or do you see it in other places as well?
It always comes up for me. And I feel like in my mind, I don't want to get too deep here, but in my mind, that's who I used to be. That is where I'm trying to navigate myself back to, not to go backwards, but I'm trying to grab a hold of her and bring her out again. I'm trying to mix the new version of Kelly, and a little bit of the old. And so I think that Queen of Swords shows up to remind me, you don't really need to do that. She hasn't actually gone anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. She's still there. In my brain, though, my emotions, I think that she's lost. And I'm trying to constantly grab her and thrust her forward into the spotlight and sort of blend the old Kelly and the new Kelly together, and I don't need to do that. So the Queen of Swords is my stalker card. I love that question. That's so cool.
I don't have a regular stalker card, but there will be quite a lot of times when something like this will just keep cropping up day after day after day after day. And it tells me to pay a little bit more attention. Each time it crops up, I go, okay, I will listen to you. I'm going to sit there and think a little bit longer. And yes, I'm going to analyze it. So to have the King of Wands for the last 3 days is, and again, it's the magic of tarot. And I'm going to use the word magic of tarot here at this point like that. Because, I'm a teacher of mathematics. I know what the probability is of pulling one card from 78 And on a course of doing that over 3 days, I know the probability is quite high. It's quite low to be able for that to keep happening. So it does make me question as well what's going on with the tarot. And that's a question I can't actually describe how it works. But I know when things like that happen, that it does.
I just want to say, so Jeffrey said, are you speaking of stalker cards in your personal reading? No matter whether I'm doing a daily read, if I'm doing a reading for someone who's popped in the chat, so let's Rain's Kitchen and Garden often comes in my chat and may ask a question. And if I get the same cards for Rain, the last 3 times that she's been here, Rain needs to pay maybe a little closer attention to what the guidance of that card is, because it's like you haven't acknowledged it, you haven't sat and sort of felt it enough. You know what I mean? Like there's something in that for you, because again, my personal opinion, I firmly believe there's no coincidences. And so if I'm sitting here and we started this stream and I pulled a card, and then 20 minutes later I shuffled and I pulled another card, and then at the end I pulled the same card, that's not a coincidence, that's a synchronicity. Somebody needs to hear that. There's guidance in that for someone. And so because I believe that, I say that if you continuously pull the same card, doesn't matter who the reading is for, but if that card keeps showing up, there's a reason why it shows up. The difficulty
and I think it's important that when that happens, and stalker cards, repeat cards that show up multiple times, either in your readings, or it has been that way when I've been reading with other people, that the same card shows up. It is an indication of, I need to pay attention to this. This is, and when I am open to that, okay. I've even done a spread about, okay, tell me about this stalker card. What do I need to know?
Yeah.
So I've done that before. So. But, and
Rain says, Kelly, that did happen twice between us, but it stopped when I took action that I didn't want to the first time. Thank you for owning that, Rain. That's not easy to own. Rain to me would be a Prince of Pentacles. Shoot, it means my son wanted money from me. That was years ago. I love that. Okay, so Liz T says, is it possibly then a collective message? It can be, absolutely.
I think that's true. I've done some readings recently on Facebook, and I've done like probably 20 or 30 very quick 2-3 card pulls for lots of different people, and 3 of the 3 cards just keep coming up and up and up again. And I actually think that is a collective message that's coming through about the times that we're in. So it might be, I can remember the last one was about finances and being with your family, and that your family and your friends are always there for you, are collectively there for you, regardless of how much money you've got or what you can afford. It's that rely on those people to get you through and that was the message that kept coming through for 4 or 5 different readings of different people.
It never ceases to amaze me. Spirit never ceases to amaze me. Unknown territory. First of all, I just love this picture. You are exactly where you need to be. So speaking of the collective message, have you ever tuned into a chat where they're doing readings, and one of the readers on the screen will say, that card keeps coming up, that message keeps coming up, there is a message for more than the person whose question we're answering, right? If you've ever been in that experience, that's kind of what we're talking about. If you continuously pull and keep saying the same word, like patience or faith or finances or whatever the case may be, chances are that is a message that needs to be heard. That's why it keeps coming up. That's why the cards show themselves, that they're showing themselves to provide you with guidance, right? Or answers, depending on how you want to word it.
Yeah. My stalker card of late has been the the Emperor. And so it's reminding me to cross my T's, dot my I's, mind my P's and Q's, make sure that I am clear on what I want to do. So now, one of the things that I used to do, and when I was doing readings in person with people, is I would actually, when I'm done with the reading, I would actually shuffle the cards and have them pick a card that is their takeaway. And I would say 7 out of 10 times that card they picked was one from the reading.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty awesome.
It is.
All right. So we're going to do some rapid fire. Okay.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm not holding your feet to the fire about the rapid part, but
you can do that if you like.
She really is, people.
Don't forget, I do have the ability to. Oh, we lost Gerald. No, I'm kidding. I would never do that. Whoops.
So we know what happened to Richie.
Yeah, it wasn't the cat at all. Kelly just decided to get rid of me.
Yeah.
No.
Did you see Patricia Stevens' question?
Did I see Patricia Stevens' question? Probably not. Gerald, it's a lot to do to think and talk and shuffle cards, and there we go.
Trust me, I know.
I heard Gerald use a word that I have learned to use in my 71 years quite efficiently. Have you found you need to control speech on your own page, or do you feel you need to allow yourself free speech? Wow. It's a good question, and I'm going to spin it in the sense of when I'm reading, it's my job. I consider it my ethics to deliver the message that I see. It's also my responsibility to deliver the message in a way someone can hear it. Yeah.
So I take time to do that, and there's nothing wrong with choosing my words carefully and pausing and allow the person to sink in for somebody. So, and I want to know what the word was, Patricia Stevens.
Bum, 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 bum. Rain says, you are the Emperor to me, Gerald. I've always seen you as that card-carrying and strong, a teacher, but not like the Hierophant, a father figure in a way, sharing your knowledge. I feel the same way. I said that to you last week, did I not? Backstage, that you're sort of like like my uncle, or you know what I mean? Like I sort of feel that awe. Thanks, Rain. I am the strength card because I'm a Leo.
Yeah. Oh, Patricia answered the question. It's the potty mouth word.
Yeah.
It's Can I say fuck on your channel?
You've already said it once, so no reason to stop.
Well, I've apparently said it twice, but yeah, I do. I try not to use it as much, but it's one of my. It's a good word.
Okay, here we go with our rapid fire. Oh, okay. There. Richie, I don't know you well enough yet to see your card. But I love that she sees that for the readers. I think that's great. By the way, friends, we're trying to get the lovely and fantastic and awesome Richie Longman Tarot over the 500 subscriber count. Please do show by going to his channel and subscribing. That's a whole lot of words.
That is a lot. You did well there to get them almost all out.
I think. Yeah. What a good teacher you are. I love it. All right. Type of
rapid fire.
Yes, rapid fire. Types of decks that you're drawn to. Colorful, dark.
Oh, is that it?
Oh, I thought there's more than that.
Well, no, I'm giving you like
I'm going. Okay. I would have said dark, but I think I'm going more colorful in my old age. That hasn't answered the question because I've said both.
Wow. Okay. I tend to be more colorful, and I like a collage style deck. I enjoy that.
Beautiful. I'm definitely bright and colorful. All right. So which tarot card did you have trouble with when you were first learning tarot? The one that just would not sink in? The one that every time you looked at it, you went, "What in the heck are you doing? What do you mean? I don't know."
Two of Swords. And to be honest, it still does.
Awesome.
Really?
Hate it.
Okay, hating it is different than having trouble meaning it.
I don't hate any of the cards, but the Two of Swords will go, "Oh, you're going to make me work for this one, aren't you?" Okay, then. Right.
Yeah, that we never like to hear what we know, what we already know. I think it was the Seven of Pentacles for me. Because I'm like, what the hell is this guy doing? He's just standing there. What am I supposed to do with this? Why? What's going on? It's like, how boring.
Patricia,
go search on farm.
Patricia says
that farmer.com or something like that.
And I was gonna say the Seven of Wands for some reason just is like, what? Seven of Pentacles. I'm like, really? Every once in a while, I'm kind of like Seven of Water. I'm like, so yeah, I agree with Seven.
You've done so well to a year, Kelly, and you've got it under. I'm going to say under your belt. You might not think that, but
Thank you. Very sweet. Do you have something that you do before you read? And I don't mean read for yourself. I mean before you hit the screen, whether you're collaborating or on your own channel. Is there something that you do to prepare yourself to read? Can you share it with us?
Yeah.
If
do you want to go Gerald or do you want...
Go ahead.
I will normally light some incense. I will set the decks out. I will give them a really good shuffle. I don't put the decks back in order afterwards. I just make sure they're really well shuffled. And I'll just take a minute or so just to center. And that's it.
If I'm going to live with somebody, I like to arrive early just to have the opportunity to laugh and giggle and to connect with each other. I did the same when I was doing training. I would want to have an opportunity to connect with someone and just know where they are, where our energy flows. I'm oftentimes I need something to drink because always hydrate when you're reading. And I typically always need pencil and something to write on because I will invariably get notes. And there's other things that I do that are mine. So I'll exercise to keep silent.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's why I said, whatever you're comfortable sharing. I have a tendency to put my decks out in some sort of color coordinated way. I don't know why, but that's what I do. You guys seen the shot of the table, and that I mean my desk. That's just what I do. It speaks to me. I've always done that. And I say a prayer. I listen to music before because it lifts me up and sort of takes me out of whatever might be going on with my own self. And like Richie said, I shuffle all of my decks while I say my prayer. And I guess the other thing that I do, which I do all the things wrong that most people are. I mean, if I started doing some of the things that I hear that you're supposed to do, gosh knows what I could achieve. I sit with my feet underneath me, like cross-legged, and that's not really good for grounding or circulation. And when the live stream is over, Kelly needs help to get out of her chair. But anyway, I'm getting too old to sit like that. But anyway.
I was going to say, Kelly, I wasn't laughing at you then. I was laughing at Gerald with his card for overcomplicating.
Yeah, I know.
I
do.
love all your little preparations.
You know, it's funny. Check back in 5 years to see if I still do these things is what I want to say, because I've only been doing this for a little while. So I don't know that I'm going to, keep it. But anyways, all right, move on. Oh, we have one more question here. Describe, if you can, how it makes you feel when you read tarot.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, that's a hard one.
I'll go first, Richie, because you've gone first a couple of times. It makes me feel part of something greater and honored and privileged to be able to convey the messages. I take it seriously. I consider it there's yes, I am silly. I have fun while I'm doing it, but and there's an urgency oftentimes about this. People come for a tarot reading when they are in need of something, need of clarity. And so I take it very seriously. It makes me extremely happy. And I feel part of something. It feels like I am part of something large.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Gerald.
Thank you.
I totally agree. Actually, you probably couldn't put it better myself. I'd feel part of something special. I'm also going to say I feel very energized and exhausted at the same time, which is how I know it's been a good reading. And recently, I didn't realize that the pineal gland that's in your head that you do what you into. I never realized. Well, I knew I had one, but for the last 6 months, say, when I'm doing readings, it's going. I can feel it, and I have to spend time closing it down often at the end of a reading. But yeah, just excited to be part of something that, as you say, is bigger than the sum of its parts, and it's great to be able to connect to people and help them, hopefully.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's a lovely answer. And I love what you said about the energized and exhausted, because I feel the same way. Patricia said, Kelly, you are a baby. You have many years to go. And no, you won't quit, because once you have your following, you would feel bad about letting your crew down. I 100% would. It's making me very emotional, so I apologize.
You don't need to apologize. It's beautiful.
Because I feel so strongly about this community, and because I feel so grateful for what being a part of the tarot community has done for me, specifically, it has given me my life back, literally, and brought peace into my heart that I could only hope that would come back, in even like 50% of it would come back. It has been a life-changing experience, and so I am excited every day that I get to sit down and put, the live button on and be like, hi friends, we're here. And I can't wait to get into the reading. And you get about halfway through and I'm up. I'm really, really high. I feel like I'm vibrating, even though I'm not. That's a whole other show, friends. But, when it starts to get to the 45-minute mark, I can almost feel myself like, whew, I did it. I'm amazed every time someone says to me, that's spot on, or that's right, or that's whatever. I don't know how. I can't explain it to anybody, but I honestly, okay, I don't want anyone, I feel a bit of the rock star thing, and I don't mean fame, like I feel famous. I feel like I don't understand why I have, 700 subscribers. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand why me. But again, I go back to what I said before. I don't question it. I just trust it and I go with it.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it is the very best feeling in the world to me that is very difficult for me to articulate. I just love what happens here. I love the exchange. And this that happens here on the screen, I am 57 years old, and at 57 years old, I have never had an experience like what I have on the screens when I share this energy with other people. This is an amazing thing that is really, really hard to put into words.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it never stops. Like, I hope it never stops. It's amazing.
And I'm just going to add exactly what you were saying about. I'm just going to say that by doing this, by being with the community and like this allows me to be a better person, hopefully, when I'm not in a community, but when I'm in my day-to-day job or being myself, I feel like I have improved, or been calmer, or been mentally healthier because of it.
I love that. So now, gentlemen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put us in the sandwich file that Gerald likes to do. There we are. And what I'm going to ask you to do is pull from whatever tarot deck you feel inspired to pull from.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're going to ask is for a message for the collective over the, what does the collective need to know today? What advice can we give? Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for hanging out. This was so much fun. I appreciate very much Gerald and Richie coming to visit and being my first guest on.
It's been lovely. I've loved it. I want to come back and do more.
Yes.
You're welcome anytime, my friends.
And we just scheduled something together in December.
Okay, I got my card. Now, one thing that Richie and Gerald and I have done prior, and it'll be interesting, so I'm going to say it now, it'll be interesting to see if this comes true again. There's quite often when we put our cards up, they're all in the same color family, which let's see if that works. It's so funny when you do this, the camera is like, oh, look at that. It's kind of...
Well, that's the back of the cards,
I know that, hey, it's in the same color family.
It is. It is.
Is that the back of yours?
I start out with the 10 of air or the 10 of swords. Okay.
I have the 2 of swords, Richie's favorite card.
I'm looking away. And I've got the Queen of Wands.
Interesting.
So 10 of swords. What does it say at the bottom of yours, Kelly?
It says endings, recovery, and freedom. So I feel very much like when I'm looking at the 3 of our cards, not trying to do a reading, but this is a good exercise to do. This is unlike what we normally do. I'm not just talking about my card. I'm talking about all of our cards. I feel like that reading says, you've been overly stressed. You've been overly worried, right? You are confused as to what to do. You're being asked to stand in your power. Trust your instincts, which is basically this whole conversation that we've had today, and own it. You are the queen. Take your queendom back. Be the queen. Reign. Shine. Like, there was a comment earlier, something about put your crown on, Gerald. So, like, wear the crown. You are the crown. You know that movie, Miss Congeniality? You are the crown. Be the crown. Wear the crown. Right? All right, Gerald, you go. What do you think?
Well, I think there's a lot of stuff going on in people's minds these days, and it's time to cut the stuff out that's not working for you. Limit your choices, because when you do that, then you have the ability to handle your energy appropriately, or with more control.
Yeah.
Because we all know in the United States, starting tomorrow, there's going to be people spending time with family, and family doesn't always get along.
Mm-hmm.
One of the great things to do is to don't lash swords with someone. Don't clash them together. Just avoid it.
Yeah. What do you got, Richie?
Well, that's quite interesting because I was thinking the story that's going along there. You've got swords. You've got, for you, as you said, Kelly, you've got this kind of incarceration, this almost sadness, this prison, this finality. Gerald, you've got the stalemate, this clashing of swords, as you suggested. So it seems like people are almost in a stalemate, difficult situation. And the Queen of Wands is coming along to say, do you know what? Just go with it and actually be a bit lively. Be yourself in a situation. Don't let the surrounding environment in many ways or the problems inhibit you. Just be controlled, be yourself. And the other thing I'm just going to point out, if you can hold them all up again, do you notice how the sky is blue in all three of our cards?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would say when you literally need to go and take a breath, get yourself outside, go and ground yourself outside. If it's 5 minutes, look up at the sky, look up at the blue sky. Hopefully it will be blue, but just look up in the sky. Just remember that you are an important person in that little spot and own it.
Yes.
That was good.
It's very good.
Oops, sorry.
Wow, she was done with us. She really took that.
You out now. It's my show.
Yeah.
I hit the wrong button. Richie, do you have something coming up that you would like to share with the lovely
I do. I need to get my special diary because it's quite important. I've got lots coming up. So
excellent.
What am I? So next, I tend to do my lives on a Friday, about the same time you do yours, Kelly, but there's always playback. And this coming Friday, the 25th, I'm joined by the lovely Heather and the lovely Gerald. And we are talking about the court cards, which has been a bit of an ongoing conversation between Heather and Gerald. And it's still going to be an ongoing conversation because we're going to talk about the problems, how we see them, giving ideas and tips on how to work with the court cards. And then later on, we're going to be doing another live when we come back and reassess it again. So there's that. And then the following week, I am with Chris Butler and other people doing readings. Janine Worthington as well from the In-Between Tarot.
Oh, yes.
We've all got new decks out, and so we're getting our decks out.
Ooh.
Things involved in those ones. So that's going to be the following week after that. Lots of other lovely things happening in between as well.
Beautiful. So, of course, as I said, you could find Richie's link in the description box below the video. He is trying to get to 500 subscribers. We would be gratefully appreciative if everyone could show him some love and allow him to surpass that by lots of numbers. That would be wonderful.
Thank you so much.
What's going on for you, Gerald?
There will probably be a pop-up live sometime tomorrow because here in the United States there is a holiday, Thanksgiving. So like and subscribe, do that. And then we all heard it here. I am on with Richie and Heather. And then Monday, I'm hosting readings on my channel with Kelly and Deb. And then on Tuesday, I'm hosting readings with Jonathan Daly and medium Betsy Palmer.
Very nice.
So looking forward to that. And yeah, like and subscribe to my channel because I post stuff on my community tab.
Yes. Gerald is always busy, always has lots going on this channel, kind of like me. So what's coming up for Kelly? So this Friday at 3 p.m. or sorry, at 4 p.m. Eastern. So we're not going to overlap each other this time. It is, so I've started two nice segments or series, whatever you want to call them, in year 2. One is what we're watching, which is Interrogation, and the second one, which will prove to be my most difficult challenge as I go forward in this year, is One Step at a Time. And it's to get me out of the house because I don't leave my home, and it's not due to the pandemic. It's because of my fears and phobias due to my anxiety panic disorder. And so it is my way of sort of wanting to motivate and support and lift each other up as we navigate life's challenges, because we all have them, right? So last week we went for a drive, and we went to the lake, and we looked at the water, and we walked around in the snow. It was lovely. This week we're going out to the backyard, and we're going to have a fire going. And because we had so much snowfall, I literally thought maybe we could, have a cup of hot chocolate by the fire, and maybe we could talk about just how we connect in nature. Maybe we could build a snowman. However, the weather is warming up, and so the snow is very quickly melting. So I don't know that a snowman is in our future, but we will be by the fire nevertheless with a cup of hot cocoa. And there could be a special guest joining us. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, not telling anyone who that might be, but that might be happening. And then on Sunday Connections with Terry from Kiguru Spiritual Journeys. Monday, I'm on with Gerald. Tuesday is Circle of Friends.
Wow, busy.
Yep. Next Wednesday is Achieving Wellness at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we're talking about motivation.
Nice.
That's that night's topic. Other than that, I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's quite a lot, Kelly.
That's a lot. Yes, that's good. That's great. So long as you were enjoying it. I am loving it.
And thank you, Rain. I appreciate you. She said you are amazing, Kelly. So proud of you. You've done so well outside. It was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah.
But I had so much love and so much support. It was absolutely amazing. So from us to you, we wish you a happy Thanksgiving if you're in the U.S. and you're going to celebrate that holiday. Please know that we love you, and we hope that you enjoyed this. Thank you very much for hanging out with us today. This has been awesome. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Blessings, everybody.
It's been wonderful. Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.